rapporteur on climate change, don't you know? No, I didn't know either, so I thought I'd ask him. Earlier this morning, he popped into our office to see me. Here's what he had to say. John Prescott, why are you going to Cancun?
Well, I am the rapporteur of the Council of Europe. It's not the European Parliament. There's 47 nations in it. They appointed me for the rapporteur to look at the agreement coming at Cancun. And I convinced them that what we did at Copenhagen was a bit of a disaster because they tried to force a legal agreement. So we, as the Council of Europe, say it's not possible to get an agreement. I am addressing the group of all parliamentarians at Cancun next Monday, and it's to convince them there is forward in the Prescott plan, as I put it, a way forward. Success, not failure.
But Copenhagen a year ago had all the world's major leaders there, Mr. Brown, Mr. Obama, and so on. Almost none are heading to Cancun.
Yeah,
Copenhagen didn't work. What will Cancun achieve?
Well, I thought it was a mistake for the leaders to think that in 4 weeks or 4 days they could meet and then decide a legal framework. It took us 4 years from Kyoto once we decided in 1997. So I tried to convince Gordon and Ed, this is an impossible event you're on. Now I think they've took it as failure. It's not exactly that. And they've stepped back and they're not going there this time. It's down to the real negotiators at the level on the detail.
But there'll still be 22,000 people there. You'll be one of them. And if you sit here in the shivering winter of Britain or Western Europe, you wonder, what's it all about? At the end of it, will anything come out of this that will make a blind bit of difference to
I believe so, and that's why I'm putting I'm putting forward an alternative.
But they're not going to endorse your plan.
No, but no, you don't have to be my plan. I have to be putting it forward. Plan. Well, let me put it forward as the only way you can go. But you can either have success or you can have failure. What I'm offering is something that 190 odd nations can agree when the Kyoto was only 45. And just let me say,
no, but they are not going to put the John Prescott plan in front of Cancun.
No, but
so that won't be a result.
No, but the John Prescott plan's not put there. What I've put together is a collection of things that come from the Copenhagen Accord. In the Copenhagen Accord, it had an appendices, of which a number of nations, representing over 80% of the nations producing greenhouse gas, put forward a plan and actions. Now, what I'm saying is, take the Copenhagen Accord, now accept the voluntary framework, and then look at how you can implement it in detail. How do you verify what people are voluntarily doing? How do you provide the money for the adoption of 100 billion they promised? How do you measure greenhouse gas? I say it should be per capita. All I'm doing is talking to these people as in China and Japan, America, and saying what can be possible. I'm giving a practical solution.
I understand that, but you never seem to get anywhere. I mean, I was looking at the agenda of some of the things you're taking part in. Yeah. You'll be a panelist for 2.25 hours. Unlocking effective climate action nationally. Do parliaments hold the key? You'll be there with a Mexican MP, a Brit lord that I've never heard of, a Ugandan MP, and a former Japanese minister. It's a talking shop.
Now, well, that may be on the parliamentarians, but the parliamentarians are not putting a government position. They're saying what we as parliamentarians believe. Governments got themselves locked into legal frameworks. We say that's a failure if you try to do that again. And I'm saying that there, but you can see the letters I've shown you from Pachari, working with Gore, in China and Japan. I put forward what is the possibility of us all agreeing. Now, they don't have to adopt it as the Prescott plan, but I must tell you this, when I went to Kyoto, it was John Humphreys on the radio programme saying no chance of agreement. He read out things like that. In the last 2 hours, we settled that agreement at Kyoto.
Where should David Cameron be? Should he be at the climate change talks in Cancun, or should he be at the World Cup bid in Geneva?
Well, I'd prefer him to be at the Cancun, but for Frank, leaders aren't going to solve this. They can direct Mr.
Do you think he should be at Cancun rather than Geneva?
Well, no, because you've got to get all the leaders to agree that. That's what we had to try and do at Kyoto, and that's what they did at Copenhagen. But when leaders come in, they want to settle in 2 or 3 days. You have to work out the detail. It takes 4 years from Kyoto to do it. So what I'm saying is, I noticed Mr. Cameron, when he first came in, said we want the legal agreement. He's moved away from that, and I'm grateful that he has. Mr. Hoon, and I said in the House of Lords, called on the government not to make the same mistake that Gordon Brown did. He thought you could get a legal agreement. It's not possible either at Copenhagen or indeed at Cancun.
People are saying it's now getting so serious that we need World War II style rationing. to reduce our carbon footprint.
Well, there's part of the no, I don't agree with that. But if you're talking about how we eat, what is the quality of life, these things are going to be challenged. There's no doubt about it, because we cannot exist a business as usual with the rich countries tearing ahead with their kind of gas emissions.
So we should stop growing as fast.
Well, no, it's a different quality of growth. You know, in economics, there's always been an argument of the definition. Is it GDP or is it? Hell, we've got happiness now coming into the criteria.
Well, we'll see about that.
I know, we will see about it, but I'm just saying, you mustn't just take it's business as usual. If we go business as usual, we'll end up 55 billion tons of gas, when the limit has to be 44. That's the challenge. That won't go away. That's the science.
But you have a problem, don't you? Because we're sitting here in the coldest November in 25 years. You're about to jet off to the sun. And people say, what's it all about?
I know, but if people like you talk like that, it's the trouble. It influences. I see there's an article in the Daily Mail. Couldn't expect anything else from it. Mr. Hume's bath in the hotel he's rooming. For God's sake, that's piddling. We're talking about the effects of the science on climate change if we don't do something about it.
But the cold this year, if this winter continues, will kill a lot more people than climate change will.
Of course it will, but if you accept that the climate change is being affected by greenhouse gases, this is something we're going to live with. Shouldn't we do something to prevent it?
Well, I've got to put this to you because, you know, we've covered all these things. People watching this will just think, hold on a minute. This is a man that used to have 2 Jaguars. He's flown to China and to Japan several times this year. He's now flying off to Cancun. What's his carbon footprint like?
What should I ever get? The slow boat to China? Don't be some damn daft. Half the problem with the political debate in this country is people like you putting silly, stupid...
You're not a role model.
What do you want me to do, to walk to
carbon
China or to
footprint,
Japan? Well, should I not fly to Mexico?
Well,
come on,
what's
talk sense
what's
to me.
the purpose, John Prescott?
Coming out with.
I'm asking you, what's the purpose that will come out of it?
The purpose is clear, to get an international agreement.
But you won't.
Wait a minute. Can you let me answer, for God's sake? You've got plenty of questions. Don't know how much you'll edit out of this, but 190...
I hope we ran it all.
195...
I'm just warming up.
Good, so am I. 195 nations. What are you going to do? How do you meet? Wherever you meet, it's got to be somewhere. I don't mind where it is.
We want a result.
As long as we... And we've got a Kyoto. We did get a result.
That was years ago. And it was marginal.
Don't tell me there's not a result when you say it's years ago. Kyoto was an important step forward. The world recognises, but getting 45 people to agree, nations, as we did at Kyoto, you've got to do it for 195. And it better have consensus, it better have fairness. And these countries have got most of the poverty in this world, while the rich countries like us, who poison the world, quite frankly, with the greenhouse gases, to have the prosperity, for you to go in your car, whatever it is, or to enjoy the wage that you have. We enjoy that. There are billions of people who live on poverty, less than $1 an hour. That's what fires me, and it should fire you.
Will you come back after Cancun and tell us what you will have achieved? Good, because I'll be waiting.
Don't
in the cold.